Welcome to the race of the season, where anything can happen. The community-chosen oval of the season sees the Lotus 49 on unfamiliar turf at the tricky triangle. It's all about the lefts here, as it's thrice left around, and who will leave how many points behind. Different drivers are the top dogs this week, as the 49 needs a different set of skills around an oval. So buckle up, get some popcorn, and join us today as we get ready to watch round 9 of the Grand Prix Legend Series live on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. Speaking to you from the press box up high is Stefan Schlacher alongside Ryan Walker. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes, our director Sean Craig Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. The oddball in the oval scene, the Pocono Raceway, is one that produces excitement. 3 wildly different turns and always rather windy make this a truly tricky triangle. Let's head to the tarmac though to learn more about this marvel in our GSRC track guide.
Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania is probably one of the most unique oval tracks in the country and has a long and storied history of racing. Opening in 1971, they wanted this place to be different, so why not make it have 3 turns? That's right, a triangle. But isosceles triangles are boring, so let's model each turn differently with different radiuses and banking, and they did. So around here, you have this incredibly long front straight, known as the Long Pond Straight, 3,740 feet long and 100 feet wide. It's known for the incredible fanning out that happens in starts and restarts, but you have to get sorted before you get to turn 1. Turn 1 is banked at 14 degrees, modeled after the old Trenton Speedway. It gets tight quick, and you need to pick the right line to be fast here. Your lap depends on it. Turn 2 is banked at 9 degrees and inspired by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's fast and quick, and if you hear somebody refer to the tunnel turn during the race, it's turn 2 they were talking about with the tunnel to the infield running underneath. Turn 3 is only banked at 6 degrees, and it's modeled after Milwaukee. It's long and sweeping, almost feels like it won't end before you jump back onto that truly endless front stretch. Pocono is most known for stock car racing, but it was originally designed for open wheel racing, and USAC Kart and IndyCar all had tenures here. Today, we're racing the old version of Pocono, with no apron on turn 1 and that old bumpy track surface that'll put the tricky in tricky triangle.
As always, very interesting points being brought up by our resident track guide driver, Joe Peak. And by the way, are you looking to take advantage of GSRC's over 1 million monthly global impressions? From official series sponsorships to commercial placements, we have advertising options customizable to suit your company's needs. Follow the link in the description to learn more. Learning more is what we're about here at GSRC as well, so let's head to Ryan for the track details.
So the details for today's track, it's hosted NASCAR in the past and also the IndyCar series, and an interesting feature about this track as well is all the corners all 3 corners are not the same. They're really different, which is kind of strange for an oval. But anyway, this track is 2.4 or 2.5 miles in length, as I try and get that right. It's 4.02 kilometers, if you prefer to use that. And like I mentioned, has 3 turns, and the track is located close to Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting how everything will play out. To remind ourselves once again of the F1 Drivers' Championship, let's have a look at that, where Mick Claridge is leading right now, 273 points to his name. He took that lead over from Nicola Kochi, second place, at the last round. Nicola Kochi, 261, so he's 12 points behind, with Ovid Trengrid only 8 points further behind in third. Then we have the New England driver Rob Olenek in 4th place, 246 points to his name, and Peter Mikus way behind already, 52 points. He's not really going to play any part here, as he's already over a win behind 4th place Olenek. Ryan, it's kind of the same story there for the F2 championship.
Yeah, the F2 Championship is still really close at this stage of the season, and at the moment it's been led by Finland's Antti Kerinen with 183 points. But David Rossi, even though he's slowly fallen back and slowly falling out of contention, kind of, he's still on with a slight chance, but he needs to start getting it together and try and get some wins in the F2 Championship. But he's still second in the championship, so it's not too bad for him. Third place is Pekka Risto from Finland, and then in fourth we've got Andrén. And rounding out the top 5 in the championship is Germany's Eric Luckel.
And where the real excitement comes in this season is a little bit unexpectedly of the Nations Cup, where we have Italy right now in first place, 314 points to the name. But then you can see it right there, 2 points behind. That's the United Kingdom, 312 points. Then the United States, 4 further points behind. We have the top 3 within 6 points of each other. So that's going to be really interesting how that plays out in the last 5 rounds of this season. Norway and Finland already a few more points back, 61 and 95 points respectively, sitting in 4th and 5th. Speaking about the points, what are the points for today's race details?
So the race details for today is this is the 9th round of the 13-round season, and the race length for today will be 37 laps, and they will include a rolling start. And the setup, as always, is open, so you're free to make any changes that you want to. And the incidents will be 17x, you will be given a penalty, and if you get to 25x, you will be disqualified from the race. So today, these drivers are going to have to think with their head, just be careful and not do anything silly, because if they get too many incidents, they could possibly get a penalty, or, like I mentioned, be disqualified from this race.
And most importantly about those mistakes, they really have to minimize them, not only for those incident points, but especially because this race, for the first time in, I think, ever in the Lotus 49 history at an oval, they will not feature any full course yellows. There will not be a pace car deployed for any wrecks. It's only local cautions. So if you have a mistake, hit the wall ever so slightly, or just a small mistake by yourself, running a little bit wide, losing the draft, you really have to fight to get that back. Right now, though, fighting to get back, Christian Challener, he really doesn't have to do that. He's right now first place. GSRC's own Christian Challener that is, and he's also confirmed as our pole sitter already, as the 5 minutes of qualifying are already over. So we're gonna go right to the starting grid here with Matthew Pylos in second place. Also a new face to this race here today with Mickey Clanch in third place. Rafael Dorado, he is practicing with said Christian Challener, so he very well is capable of doing nearly the same times of our World Championship driver. 5th place, Rob Olenek. 6th place went to Ovid Tringrid. 7th place, Dave Price makes a return into the series. As always, he's very capable of oval racing. Peter Mikus, 8th place, and Chandler Pillarito, 9th. Kedanen, our resident F2 championship leader, in 10th place.
Starting in 11th is Gary Teal, alongside him in 12th is Colin Bentley. Yuri Giesen starts in 13th, alongside him in 14th is going to be Samuel Roos. 15th is David Rossi, 16th is Finland's Pekka Risto, 17th is Igor Kodio, and 18th is going to be Laust Olsen, 19th is going to be Sebastian Teixeira, and rounding out the 20 is going to be Aaron Roos. And David M. Meyer starts in 21st, 22nd is Terry Tromhauser, 23rd is John Olsen, Giulio Pocono in 24th, and Drenger in 25th. 26th is going to be Dave Cohen, 27th is Randy Hu, 18th is Trent Buzzi, Andreas Bruno in 29th, 30th is Donald Peake, 31st is Douglas Nielsen, 32nd is Gary Anderson, Yasmin Beach starts in 33rd, and the rest of the drivers that did not set a time was Paul Forster in 34th, 35st is John Van Dorn, Reggie Jensen 36th, and rounding out the grid is Robert Reynolds.
As the pace car rolls off, it is a very wise decision to also press your button, to speak. because otherwise nobody is gonna hear you. But yeah, Ryan, we have a few different faces as always in our Lotus 49 oval races. Some of the oval drivers come over, like Christian Chalana. He is sitting at 4K R rating, so he's most definitely capable of a good oval result. What can we expect from our normal Lotus 49 drivers versus those that come in with a lot of oval experience and just take this race because it's a 49 at one of the trickiest oval tracks in the world?
I think some drivers might just try and play it safe and just settle down into a rhythm, just let the race pan out and see how it goes. But the oval guys, like you say, like Challenger, they might try and go for it straight away and just try and gain track position. But it's going to be interesting, and I think we should be in for an exciting race. But also, like you mentioned at the start of the broadcast, the courses have been disabled. So if you wreck out of the race, there's no chance for you to get back to the pits and get repairs and get back out without losing time.
Well, one thing we just saw on our screens is the immense hot track temperature of 111 degree Fahrenheit, 73 degree Fahrenheit in the air, partly cloudy is the sky here today. The winds, though, they are very nice for our drivers, only 4 to 3 miles per hour from the north to northwest, so they don't have to worry too much about that wind. But my gosh, that track temperature is surely gonna make it even trickier for our racers here today, as the exit turn number 3, Christian Chalana directly on the loud pedal. It's go, go, go here, Pocono Raceway, and Matthew Pilos completely lost out on that start.
Yep, as I head down to turn 1, and it looks like everyone's not doing anything silly at the moment too far. They all try to settle down, and at the moment it looks like Paul Force is up into the lead and takes it from Christian Challenger.
And it seems like we already had a wreck in the back. Dave Cohen already wrecked out of the race even before they took the green flag. So that is very interesting. There was a little bit of a backlog going into turn 2 that I completely missed at the pace lap already. So there has been some drivers who are out of the race already, as your guys to turn number 2 takes to the grass. That was really lucky for him to not hit the outside wall, as we have to challenge 41 McLeod to the inside of turn 3.
And they're coming round basically the final corner now, and look at this 4-car battle going on for the lead, and it looks like it'll be a slipstream fest. But with the Lotus 49, you can't do any bump drafting, so it's basically, if you get a slipstream, you've got to pull out from the slipstream and make a move. As McLaren, it looks like he's making a move up into turn 1.
Yeah, McLeod took over the lead, but he's drifting extremely wide. That will give back the chance for Chalana, and Chalana says, thank you very much. It's still my first place here. I know you're pretty good in that Lotus 49, but I'm the oval racer here of us too. Look at the draft though coming in for McLeod, also in behind. Oh, that's nearly a spin. That is no how he saves it. Matthew Pilos somehow saves that through turn 2. Still pedaling. Now he has it under control again. Loses out back to 5th place. He goes from 3rd way too deep into turn 2. Nearly hits the back of Chalana, but everything played out very nicely for him, and they're all still continuing. Another twitch for Pilos nearly into the outside wall. Now he also gets overtaken by turn grade, that is.
Yep, and it looks like Ovi's making a move down to turn 1 as well, up the inside of and
just as McLeod as well, by the way. McLeod to the inside of Chalana. He was able to hold the inside this time around. Chalana has the outside. That will give the momentum to the American driver. Let's have a look. No, sorry, obviously you can't. I don't know why I put him there. Chalana is gonna have to concede though first place. McLeod finally passed, and he's also able to stay ahead out of turn 2.
Yep, and it looks like Claridge's back into the lead, and he keeps the lead rather, but Challenger runs wide a little bit as he head into the final corner, and up the inside as well, trying to make a move. It looks like Rob Olenek.
Going on board with Rob Olnick. Let's have a look how that challenge is going to play out for him. They're nearly 3 wide with Rafael Durao taking the outside. But right now it's just Olenek and Chelina side by side through turn 2. Chelina tries that high. It does work somehow, as Rob Olenek has a big slide in the middle of turn 1. Has to nearly concede the position to Dorado, but Dorado isn't able to take that as the door gets slammed shut right in front of his nose.
You know, it's like Dorado's not trying to make any moves early. He's maybe just sitting there watching how these guys battle away, and maybe just plan a strategy and maybe just hang back a little bit and let these guys scrap amongst themselves for the early stages of this race. But again, Challenger runs wide and takes a high line, so maybe that's that taking the high line seems to be better and you get a better exit.
Let's have a look at that. Is gonna go Chelina to the inside now, tries to take away that first place once again. Already on lap number 5 of 37. Draft is keeping them close right now, but obviously with the high track temperatures, 112 degrees Fahrenheit, the question is all about tire life. Oh, Mikkelec, very wide, nearly touches the outside wall, has to get out of it, and that also lets Rob Olenek past, who steams up ahead into first place, maybe even by the time they hit turn number 2. And indeed it is. Tunnel turn, Rob Olenek into first place from third, and Mikkelec tumbles further down. Now also Matthew Pilos goes past him, as there also Rafael Dorado sneaks to the outside of him. What is happening with Mikkelec? Maybe just letting off a little bit after that caution call. To the outside of turn 1. Once again, a little bit of a slide for Mikkelec on the inside of Dorado. Matthew Pilos ahead also had a big slide to catch out of turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like Claridge is maybe just struggling a little bit with these track temperatures, with not suiting these setup, as it looks like Challenger's back up the inside of Ulrich and into the lead.
Very much so, and he also did hold that inside line. Rob Olenek tried to dive below him, but realized that Chelina is still there, had to get out of it, but still gets a very good run to the inside. He is nearly already once again passed into turn 2. But he's actually also able to do it all in behind. That's nearly not a spin for Pilos. Does he spin? Yes, he does. Oh, right in between two drivers, and that's a big wrecking once again. Dave Price out of that. He also gets hit by Gary Thiel. And there's also Peter Mikesno, super slow, out of turn 2. And it seems like everybody able to avoid it.
Well, look at the replay now, and it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact, and the Price just loses it and just whacks the wall, and that's his race done.
I actually think the 6 of Gary Thiel, or the 7 of Gary Thiel, was able to keep his car clean there. So it seems like that was net because Chelina and Rob Olenek side by side for P number 1 through turn number 1. Lap 7 already of this 37 lap race.
The Challenger and Olenek are going side by side, and it looks like Olenek might have the run on the outside. Actually, Challenger manages to hold the inside and it retakes the lead. So these guys are chopping and changing places almost every corner of every lap, and fantastic racing between these guys.
Now, obviously, this has put a big hole in our drivers here for this P number 1 battle. So we're going to look back a little bit to P number 7. Gary Thiel, there you can see he doesn't have any damage on his car, so he was very lucky from hitting that flying car of Dave Price. Right behind him, that's Peter Mikus in 8th place, trying to attack it in turn 1. Doesn't really work out for him, obviously. Very bumpy entrance into turn 1. I actually do wonder, Ryan, with how bumpy turn 1 is on the very bottom side, is it more wiser to stay one line up and take a little bit of a higher route?
It's possible. I mean, Challenger's been using the high line quite a few times now, and it seems to be working for him, especially in turn 1. He seems to take the high line. The high line seems to be much smoother than the inside, and they seem to get a better exit.
Our lead group has once again formed 5 cars it is now after the 2 cars crashed 2 laps ago. Rob Olenek, now look at that, draft comes in, but here also comes Mikkelec to the lead, 3 wide for the first time for P number 1 down the main straight. Rob Olenek seems to be holding that place, squeezes a little bit Mikkelec on the inside, but both of them hold it. Christian Chelina still on the very outside. Now he gets a little bit of a slam there by Rob Olenek. Does he actually? No, he does not want to squeeze his car through that gap. It was open in between Kletch and Rob Olenek, but Jelena is better off it.
Yeah, I think you can try and maybe go free wide, but it's just on an oval, it's too risky. And I think some of these guys really realise that it's better to play it safe at this stage of the race and just stay tucking line again as we ride on board with Mick Claridge in second place. And Mick getting sideways on the exit.
Christian Jelena right away says that might be my chance to bounce, but he's not actually able to get any speed from that. But look at that, Dorado. No, he's also thinking better of it, so they still stay in line. McLeod very deep into turn 1, has to really slam on the brakes, but that's his style. Also on road courses, very deep on the brakes, and always somehow makes it stick.
And yep, these guys are basically, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5-car battle for the lead at the moment. And in the background, you've got Rafael Dorado in 4th place, and again, Clara's getting a wee bit sketchy in the middle of the corner there, and just basically kind of pushing it at the stage of the race. And Challenger's going to the high line again.
By the way, after just 10 laps, number 27, that's the last car that's still running 32 seconds in behind our leader, so it won't take too long until we stop lap traffic, as now Christian Jelena goes to the inside of McLeod. But we're going to leave this battle for a few moments to look at the battle for P9.
P9 at the moment is Yuri Giesen, and having a good race at the moment, and he takes the title line into turn 1, and they kind of goes to the middle line as well, so it kind of takes a tight entry, but goes wide a little bit in the middle of the corner, and it seems to be working for him. But behind him as well, we've got Antti Keren and also Samuel Rouse as well.
Keeping an eye on this, keeping an eye also on our lead pack that are 2 by 2 right now. For first place, Christian Jelena, Rob Olenek side by side. There was a little bit of a mistake from Rafael Dorado as we just cut back onto the screen. There was also a mistake by McLeod into one. He nearly went all the way to the outside wall. He lost his positions all the way back to 4th place. Took that now back as Rob Olenek looks to the inside of Christian Jelena. Let's have a look how that's going to play out, as once again, oh, look at that. McLeod has so much more middle turn speed than Rob Olenek, but out of the turn, once again, Rob Olenek, much better traction than the Brit.
Absolutely, and riding on board with Rafael Dorado at the moment, he's just watching these guys, and he gets a slipstream on a Ovi Trengrade in front of him, but he decides not to go for the move, and he thinks better of it. But at the moment, this Dorado again, just sitting back and watching these guys scrap amongst themselves, and he doesn't want to get involved in this battle at the moment, it seems.
Look at that, McLeod once again to the inside of Rob Olenek, but out of the turn, Rob Olenek once again just better traction. He's able to keep that momentum up, but here now comes the draft for McLeod. Goes to the inside, actually goes very far to the inside. Would have let the gap open for Trengrade, but Trengrade decides much better of that, says well clear of that opportunity. So they're only going to go 2 wide into turn 1. And once again, look at that. Rob Olenek, worse into the turn, but much better out of it.
We've got a great exit, and it looks like Olenek possibly might have the run in Challenger, but also he's under attack from Mick Claridge. But Claridge doesn't seem to be close enough to make a move, and again, the line astern as they head into the final corner and onto the home straight.
The track is only getting hotter. 113 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So we're already up to Fahrenheit.
And across the line we come now. And when I meant the home straight, I meant the back straight, which is bad of me. But anyway, heading down to turn 1, and it looks like Olenek is trying to make a move. And again, Challenger to the high line, and he seems to be getting a better exit. And they're just about went about 3 wide.
Yeah, McLeod very deep once again into turn 1, just like he always is. But with the traction, Rob Olenek did get out of turn 1 like he always does. He was able to keep quite nicely up with Challenger, who normally had momentum speaking for him. But with the traction, Rob Olenek passed once again. He now into 1st place, Challenger 2nd. Kletch 3rd, over Trengrade 4th place, and Rafael Dorado brings up the back in 5th place. Soon we're going to have some lap traffic though. Julia Forsolin Never mind, he's going into pit lane, so Dave Cohen soon to be 1 lap more down than he already is. He's already 3 laps down, and our leaders will soon swallow him whole. 2 by 2 once again for a very short period. Robolnik has once again lost the lead to Christian Chalana. Mikhail Nioli took a little bit of weight there off the gearbox of our New England driver, but he did not. Very close to Robolnik once again with a better traction to the inside of the second, straight into turn 1 and to turn 2. And once again, turn is where the lead changes in favor of Robolnik.
I know, it looks like as well, I'm just looking behind at the battles for, we've got a battle going on for P7 at the moment, between the battle for P7 between Peter Mikus and Antti Kerinen. Are also not far behind. We've got Gary Teal by the looks of it.
Yeah, Gary Teal is struggling. He was the car that did hit Dave Price when he was in the air, so it seems like he actually does have some damage from that, as he is a little bit down on straight line speed, as he is dropping back to 10th place. One track further back, that's Sebastian Tixia trying to defend P number 12 from Peccaristo, as Peccaristo to the inside, but also seems like that Tixia way too wide into turn 1 and maybe lose the position to Rister. Rister not really able to get traction down, so Tixia continues right now in 12th place.
Ooh.
Back to the...
Oh, sorry, Steph. I was just watching someone getting sideways in the grass there before we cut away. But back up at the front, we've got the battle for the lead is still raging on, and it looks like Challoner again is pulling out from the slipstream. Rob Olnick, and is going to make a move up the inside. But Mick Claridge says, "I want a piece of the action," and goes up the inside into turn 1.
Is he able to keep the inside line? The answer is no, not at all. Pushes Christian Challoner wide. Challoner doesn't care about that. Keeps the traction going. Keeps the momentum up on the very wide side. So they are now side by side. Momentum is equal between the two. There's still Linus turn into turn 2. Who is going to take that position away? Someone has to win that battle. Right now it looks like Mick Lynch will have the upper hand, but he once again wants the momentum on the high side for Christian Challoner. Here now comes Rob Olnick. 3 wide into turn 3 nearly. Rob Olnick decides better off that, as Mick Lynch and Christian Challoner, the 2 British drivers of this race, are once again fighting for P number 1. For right now, it's still Christian ahead. He's gonna take the honors here at the end of lap number 17. But once again, Mikhail to the inside of turn 1. When will who give up for this battle? Mikhail once again very deep into turn 1. Has to brake quite a lot, quite severely. Look at the momentum. Christian Challoner is caping up on the top side, and this has been the rule of the thumb, as once again, Challoner just takes home that P1 out of turn 1, but once again, just Challoner not as fast through the straightaways, and Mikhail able to take it finally away from his countryman.
Yeah, Challoner just seems to make that outside line work, but again, he seems to be missing out, and again, it looks like he's going to lose a couple of positions.
3 wide!
Oh!
Rob Olnick to the inside of Mikhail, Christian Challoner to the outside. Neither of them has a very good exit, so they're kind of keeping Linus Sturm, but Rob Olnick way worse to the inside, so he's falling back now side by side with over train rate. And here there comes, look at that, so much deeper on the brakes, Mikhail, but then look at how much Challoner is keeping with him to the middle part of the track, and then they're equal out of the turn. So in reality, I would nearly give the upper hand to Challoner in terms of turn speed.
Yep, and as I head down to the head down into this corner here, and it looks like I thought someone was going into the wall there, but managed to keep it out. And this is a fantastic battle between the top 5, and they've managed to just pull away from the rest of the pack and just scrap amongst themselves. But yeah, down the home straight we come again. It looks like possibly we might go 3 wide again, heading down to turn 1.
Starting lap number 20, Mikhail tucks into the draft, and here now also comes Rob Olnick 3 wide once again down the home straight. This is about the 4th or 5th time we're gonna see them go 3 wide into turn 1. Mikhail, oh, that's a touch!
No contact!
Miklash hard into the wall. He also goes into the Shadow Realm, so he's out of the race. Miklash not gonna make it 4-4-4.
Yeah, heading down to turn 1 now, and it looks like they go 3 wide, and Claridge, I think, just tried to hold on to it on the outside of turn 1, and just ended up in contact, and he got clipped by what looked like it was Olenek, and unfortunately Mick was a passenger.
Chandler somewhat lucky in that incident, as you can see from his onboard. He is not having the overlap, and I think that's what saved him from also getting collected in that crash. That means right now Chandler first place ahead of Rob Olenek, second of its ring rate. Now third place with Rafael Dorado in fourth.
Yeah, and it looks like well, it's basically a 4-car battle now, but not far behind this 4-car battle I'm looking at is a 5th place Chandler Pellerito in 5th. He's not far behind, and if these guys keep scrapping on themselves, he could possibly close up to them and make it a 5-car battle.
Yeah, I have to see how this is gonna go. Chandler Pellerito, he did drop. He's dropping ever so slightly, pretty much every single lap. The last one was a 55.453. Now that he's out of the draft, he's running about a 10th slower than the other guys.
And the battle for P7 at the moment, Yuri Geeson and Antti Kerinen is going at the moment, and they also in this battle as well as Gary Teal and P9. So this battle has been going on for God knows how long, but it's still really close racing and fantastic. And Sebastian Tixier just has had issue by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's in pit lane. What happened with him? That seems like an overtake gone wrong on the replay. Let's have a look. Gonna happen into turn 3 here, so just in a few moments he's gonna get hit by Samuel Roush from behind, and then Igor Cobra finishes the job right there. So yeah, very unlucky for the Club Asian driver. Now out of the race, our 3rd or 5th official retiree.
The battle for P6 is going on at the moment, still with Geeson and Kerinen and Teal. And then it looks like Geeson is on the outside, or he was under attack and manages to keep hold of that P6.
As the lead battle is also right now raging away. It's not something we haven't seen already, but Rob Olenek side by side with Christian Chalina out of turn number 1. Finally, turn 2 once again settles it in favor of Rob Olenek. Just as said, something we have seen already a few times. Rob Olenek just much better out from the middle part out of the turn, and that's exactly where he made that overtake happen as so many times before already. So Rob Olenek going to be your leader at the end of lap number 23, and they're going to run up to some traffic, 2 cars ahead of them. That is, let's see, that is, if I can get to them somehow. So many cars in pit lane. Douglas Nelson and Jasmine Beach, 18th and 19th.
And the top 3 head into turn 1, and it's interesting the different lines that they take. Olenek takes the tighter line, Challenger goes higher but keeps it in the middle, and then Dorado just went really high, and they got a great run in the exit. So these drivers are using different lines in the turn 1, but Challenger and Olenek are just made a little gap to Dorado, so maybe Dorado just hanging back and just planning what he's going to do in the closing stages.
Makes you kind of wonder though, with the Highline Challenger taking every single lap, is he saving his tires compared to Olenek, who's always going a very low on that turn 1 and also turn 2, so it just remains to be seen what is going to happen between those two, as the track temperature did rise once again by 2 more degrees Fahrenheit. 115 we're now sitting at as they lap Jasmine Beach.
And it looks like, Challenger and Olenek are going to go side by side, and Dorado's just sitting down in the back ring. And going to ride on board with Dorado now, and he's just this is the onboard view from his perspective, and just watching the lead battle up ahead as Yet again, Olenek and Challenger going at it side by side.
Rafael Durado. He was keeping up very nicely with them, but since that incident right ahead of him with Nick Fletch, he really wasn't that strong anymore. He did lose from them on. So going to be interesting to see now that they're fighting if he can get back to those two ahead of him. Either way, the Brit to the inside of the New England driver. Let's have a look at Olenek this time high. And yeah, once again, he's just able to keep that traction. Chandler with a little bit of a slide over the bumps on the inside. And that means Chandler not able to take away that lead for now. Still 12 laps to go.
And Challenger tucks into the slipstream again, and they pulls back out and makes a move up the inside. And they Olenek to the outside, Challenger on the inside, and they still side by side as they head onto the back straight. And they, yeah, again, Dorado's closed right up on these guys.
Yeah. Still a 5-10th back, but we're gonna look at the battle for P number 5, Antti Kerinen getting caught by Gary Thiel. Or is it actually that Gary Thiel is dropping a little bit back? Seems like last lap at least, that a 10th was between in favor of Antti Kerinen. Let's have a look how it's gonna be this time around. Kerinen a 55.621 was a 56.117 for Gary Thiel, so he's most definitely. Oh, Yuri Geisen, where is he coming from? As he goes into the wall,
he spun
around right into the racing line. Nobody anywhere close to him in about 400 years. So he is easily able to spin around his car and get going again.
If we look at the replay on board from Yuri, and I think he just got cut out by how much one of the cars in front of him slowed down, and they unfortunately had to run wide and just to avoid him and carry loads of speed, spun it and just nudged the wall a little bit with his right front, but he's managed to get going again.
Going to get once again a little bit interesting for P number 1. Challenger and Olenek are caught now by Dorado as they also catch lap traffic once again. 2 cars it is. Going to turn 1, Rob Olenek tries to go to the inside yet again. Let's see how this one's going to go for him. Probably just like we have seen the other few times, or maybe not, as Challenger now has a draft of the 2 cars ahead of him. And exactly that's also dearly in favor of Challenger, so a lucky outcome for him as we head into the last 10 laps of this race.
As they come round now to go around a couple of back markers now, and they get by one, and they heading into the final corner. They get by it, and Ulrich runs slightly wide, and he just runs wide a little bit, but maybe using that high line to get great momentum on the exit, and they a bit spread out now, but with the slipstream, this will probably bounce back up.
Yeah, Rafael Dorado also lost a little bit once again, so he's really not able to keep much with them. Unless they're fighting, he is just not able to hold that pace. Probably already used up all of his tires. As a little bit of a relief for our drivers, the track temperature has gone down by 1 degree Fahrenheit. As they go past by Robert Reynolds into turn 2, no opportunity for Rob Olenek to take to the inside of the runner as they complete lap number 29 in just a few moments' time.
Yep, and the Challenger and Olenek are really close together now, and they've managed to use that back marker to an advantage and maybe just use it to build up a bit of a gap to Dorado now, and they at the moment as they come across the line now, and they will got about just under 9 laps remaining.
Once again, Rob Olenek to the inside as we see that little bit of a few stats here. Top 16, they're still on the lead lap. John Van Dorn, the last one there. We have 3 cars, 1 lap down, and then everybody else, 20th down that is, already has visited the pit lane, and only the top 21 are still in this race. From 37 drivers that is, as once again Rob Olenek still to the inside of turn 2 there with Christian Chalina, and now he's able to take that position away. So this time around it did take him much longer than we are used to seeing from Rob Olenek, as that pass still isn't completed, so it seems like tire wear is starting to be an effect for Rob Olenek. Very much like that slide once again. Tank slapper, second time So Rob Warnick, I think he's starting to struggle a little bit with his rear tires.
Yeah, it's possible. Maybe just push too much in the early stages and destroy his tyres, and maybe just lose some grip. As he's fall. You see right now he's falling back from Challenger a little bit, and interestingly Challenger sticks to the really tight line in the middle of the corner instead of taking the wide line. But Olnick's got the run.
Yeah, Draft is keeping them tight right now. Rob Olenek able to once again close that gap, but I wonder if it's go time for Christian Chalana that he said, yeah, I'm going to drive till that point on the high line and then I'm going to go to the low line because I know that my tires will be good after that. Well, we have to see. Maybe it was just a little bit of a fluke and he accidentally took the low line. Whatever it was, Rob Olenek back to the back of him. The draft is coming into play very early for these Lotus 49s down the home straight. And once again, Rob Olenek, he did not lead this lap by 56 one-thousandths of a second. He was placed in second. So all we know is that the draft not strong enough to make an overtake happen in the last lap.
And the side by side again on the exit of turn 1, and Challenger is so close to the wall there, he just about scraped it with his both right side wheels, but manages to keep it out, and they heading side by side again, and Dorado slowly closing on these guys again, and they're just the more these guys scrap amongst themselves, they're just giving Dorado a bigger chance to close back up.
Gain 2/10 up to this point, Dorado did on those two. I really do think that yes, he is catching them, but not really to an extent where he could be a threat for the winner, at least right now. We're gonna look back for P number 5 if these guys can't trade positions. We have Antti Keränen from 6th, once again back into 5th place. Peter Miku still fighting for that, as well as Eric Thiel in 3rd place of this trip.
Not far behind these guys as well. I thought that was is that Yuri Giesen or is that a back marker? But
that is Donald Peak.
Oh, it's Donald Peak. Sorry. So these basically Yuri's too far behind now, so it's these three guys battling for P5, and Keränen just needs to think of the F2 championship. I mean, he's got a commanding lead, and he just needs to finish and pick up the points. But maybe picking up another position wouldn't do any harm.
As P1 has hit some traffic now, so this might also be a little bit interesting, but we're gonna stay at this pedal for right now, as they head into turn number 3 for the 32nd time in this race. Let's head now to P number 1 as they are fighting once again into turn 1 side by side, and they're also having trouble with traffic as Randy Howe is right in front of them. This might get a little bit interesting here. 2 wide, make that 3 wide out of turn 1. A good job by Randy Howe, though, to stay out of everybody's way.
Yeah, it was a great job by him, and I think Christian and Rob would have been holding their breath for a few seconds anyway, and just hoping for the best, and managed to get by one of the back markers with no issues. And they've got another one in front of them, which might help Challenger with the slipstream. And they go 3 wide. Oh, that was so close.
That was Andres Bruno letting them pass. Rob Olenek and Chalana very much unhindered by him as they're still fighting side by side, starting lap number 35. Only 3 more to go as they cross the start finish line. They're continuing to hit traffic as just ahead of them Julie Forselin and Dave Pocono once again are going to be lapped in just a few moments time as Chalana continues on his high line with Rob Olenek to the inside of turn 1. This time Rob Olenek just not able to get much traction out of turn number 1, so it really does seem like that Olenek used up his tires, the good stuff of his tires, and has to slot into a P number 2.
And Christian Challenger, we know he raced in one of the big series in NASCAR on iRacing, so he's got oval experience of possibly just looking after the tyres and how to go about these oval racing and how to win races. So maybe just thinking about just letting Rob just destroy his tyres a little bit as the back marker in the way, getting out of the way as well. Good job by that.
He is part of the Coca-Cola NASCAR Series live here also on the iRacing Esports Network, by the way. So you can catch them racing. I think it's every Tuesday they're racing. Every other Tuesday, sorry. Rob Olenek second place right now. He's about 2 car lengths back, 1 car length back. But once again, just not able to get very close to that UK night driver ahead of him.
Yep, and his head onto the back straight now, and it looks like, and it's got the run. Boy, try and make a move, though. I think no, he doesn't go. Oh, he actually does go for the move at the last second and throws it up the side. He's coming to the home straight, and to come across the line, it'll be a white flag.
Now 1 more lap to go for our leaders battle pack. There we go. 2 guys fighting it out. Rafael Dorado will have no say in that whatsoever unless something happens for this. Christian Chalana once again to the outside. He lost that line and he uses it to perfection. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a big slide for Rob Olnick. That's going to cost him a lot of momentum, but he can slip back into the slipstream. He does. Now he's waiting for that opportunity. So he's not going to take it into turn number 2. He knows that once this deal is sealed in turn 3, he might be able to win this race, but not with that slide through the tunnel turn. Rob Olnick too far back. Will he dive into the inside? No, he won't. Christian Chalana, just a few more meters to go until he can crown himself the Lotus 49 Oval Champion. Can he hold it together? Yes, he can. Christian Chalana wins it. Round number 9 from Pocono Raceway.
Rounding out the top 3 is going to be Rafael Dorado, and the rest is back behind are coming across the line. It looks like Nikas will finish in P5 with Karen in P6 and Colin Bentley finishing in P7.
Pecaristo might be finishing in P8. Colin Bentley not too far ahead of him. So that might still be something. No, they won't. They will be finishing 7th. 8th. Igor Cobreo will be finishing 9th place. David Rossi will probably take it home in 10th place. A few cars still need to trickle over the start-finish line. But we're going to step aside for just a few moments because we really need to take a breather after this race. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. We welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show, streaming into your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. An interesting race, an interesting advertising opportunity, because are you interested in advertising with GSRC? Our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience. Follow the link in the description to learn more. Learning more, once again, the tipping point into our standings. See Christian Chalana, the official winner of this race. He's also going to be crowned the Oval Champion of this season with that, because we only have a single Oval this season. Rob Olnick, 2nd place, just behind the 10th in between them. And then we have Rafael Dorado, 2nd behind in 3rd. Chandler Pellerito in 4th place, Peter Mikus in 5th, Antti Kerinen in 6th place, Colin Bentley 7th, Pecaristo from 16th up to 8th place, getting 8 positions, such as Igor Kobo from 17th to 9th, and David Rossi rounds out the top 10.
Andrein had a great race starting in 25th and finished in 11th. John Olsen again 23rd to 12th and finishing in 14th. Finishing in 13th, sorry, was John Van Dorn, with Ron Reynolds in 14th. 15th was Douglas Nielsen. 16th was Jasmine Beach. 17th was Yuri Geeson. 18th, Gary Teal, Aaron Roos, and 19th. 20th was Gio Facolin. 21st, Dave Cohen, Andreas Bruno finished in 22nd, and the rest of the pack either was not classified or retired from the race.
Yeah, we were already very deep in that pack of the retired people, as we are now going to talk to our resident oval racer, not only very successful in the Coca-Cola eNASCAR series, but also apparently very successful in the Lotus 49. So, Christian, the question is, should NASCAR change to Lotus 49s?
Oh, I'd definitely be in favor, right? That's the best racing I've had all year, and maybe even my entire time on here. That was, I mean, I expected there was draft effect and everything, but I mean, that was a flat out brawl for like 37 laps. Like, that was crazy. And these guys are so good. Like, I know this isn't what they normally do, but I was more comfortable running 2-3 wide with these guys than I was with certain guys in the Coke series. So that says a lot about the drivers in this race, and yeah, that absolutely had to work for that.
Yeah, very much so. Now, we have seen a few incidents in that lead pack. One of them you narrowly avoided with Mick Ledge getting shot across the track. How was that from your perspective?
Yeah, I got extremely lucky with that. I saw it because I was sort of behind it, but I was sort of in it as well. I think I was the top car in sort of a staggered 3 wide type situation. So I was kind of leaving some room because I knew there was the possibility of them drifting up a little bit. But then I heard like the kind of, you know, the bang you get with the contact sounds. I was like, oh, okay. And then suddenly Mick's like sliding across right in front of me, and I'm like, oh, okay. But there's nothing you can do in the 49. Like it's got nothing. Once you're committed to a line, that's like you're stuck to it. And I just got lucky. There was no skill in that at all. It just happened to be that I arrived right as Mick's car cleared the middle lane, and I was able to just slot through there.
Well, the last question I have for you, or it's not really a question, it's a demand that you have to answer. You're gonna race the rest of the season, aren't you?
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe we'll see. It's honestly it's just a time thing, and this one worked out so well. I've got to say a big thanks to Rafael Dorado for kind of steering me into doing this. We did a couple of hours of practice with this last week, and when I was driving it, I was like, you know, this seems like this is going to be really, really fun. And then it kind of got sort of midway through the week, and I kind of kept getting asked by him and by a couple of other guys, like, you gonna race it, you're gonna race it. And then my teammate Samuel Rash was also in TeamSpeak when I was talking about, like, should I do this, should I do that, and he was like, yeah, and I'll race it with you if you do it. So that kind of swung it, and yeah, that's how I ended up here. And I don't know. I'd really would like to, but it's just a question of time, and if I have the spare time to do it.
Well, last but not least, thanks once again for talking to us, Christian. Congrats on your win, and good luck in the rest of the Coca-Cola eNASCAR series.
Thank you.
That was your number 1 winner of this season here at the Oval. Also, your Oval Championship winner of the Lotus 49. Next up, we're talking to Rafael Dorado in the name of Ryan Walker. And Rafael, one thing I have to add to that is, please make Christian race more of the Lotus 49.
Yeah, Rafael having a great race for his first time on an oval. Finishing in 3rd place, and Rafael, that looked like you had a great race, and at times you were close to Christian and Rob, but it just looked like you weren't close enough to try and make a move to try and take the win. But 3rd place in your first oval race, that's a great result.
Seems like Raphael has a few problems on his side with the microphone, so we're gonna give him a few moments here to try to fix that.
Hello?
Hello, Raphael, there we have him.
Oh, nice. Thank you. So I was saying that I'm really, really happy with P3 in this my first oval race ever. I have to thank also Christian and the guys in the community for helping me out, figure out the oval thing. And it was a really difficult race for me. I went to second gear at turn 3 one time by mistake and almost blew my engine. Also had major oversteer in the entry of turn 1, so I could have died 2 times there. And I didn't really have a plan. I was just trying to be balanced, being careful, but also trying to move ahead. In the end, I'm really happy with P3, and I want to congratulate Christian and Rob, of course, for P1 and P2.
Yeah, I mean the early stages of that race, it looked like I was saying a few times on the broadcast, it looked like you weren't really like eager to make any moves early in the race. Were you just letting the race pan out and just maybe seeing how the other guys went about it and just let them scrap amongst themselves, or was it just simply a case of just just them being quicker than you?
No, you are correct. Since I don't have a lot of experience over racing, and it's really intense when you have a lot of cars side by side, my plan was to hang back a little bit on the first half of the race, just to try to be as safe as possible, try to avoid any incidents, which worked for me in the end because I was able to avoid the incidents that happened in front of me. And when it started on lap 30 or so, I decided to try to move ahead, but then it was just Christian and Rob in the front, and they were super fast. And with the back markers as well, I was not able to be as close as I wanted in the end.
Great to hear. And yeah, before we let you go, Raphael, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to or any thank yous to?
Yeah, I want to thank again the whole Lotus 49 community, and I hope Christian races with us in the road courses as well if he has the time. And yeah, and thank you guys for the broadcast. I always enjoy it.
Thanks, Raphael. And that was the third place finisher, Rafael Dorado, joining us in the booth. And I believe up next, Steph, you've got Yuri Gieson with you.
Yeah, Yuri, you were in good contention inside the top 10 for a very long time and then had run into some issues. Tell us your point of your issues out here today in the very hot track conditions.
It was good fun. I was battling in the second group with Auntie, Gary, and Chandler, I think it was, and well, we were fighting a bit too much to stay with the lead, so we lost out. And but I have to say, after like lap 1, I already was driving on borrowed time since I nearly let it run wide into Auntie, but he anticipated perfectly, so we could continue and fight for a fair bit of the race. And but at one corner, I think it was turn 1, somewhere 2/3 into the race, I got a bit eager, and I went on the outside of 2 guys and just clipped the ball, spun it to the inside, and had to pick up later. So that that put me back. And then I think at lap 36, I had an incident with Colin. We were fighting. It was a nice battle, and I left him a little room on the inside into turn 1, and then he just came up a little bit too much, or maybe I came down a little bit too much, and then and then we collided, and I got the worst of that. But I'm kind of lucky to get into 17 still. So after that, so I'm happy.
Yeah, normally not someone who I would think of as an oval racer, but you did very much hold your own here. So very good job on that. Give us an outlook for next week at Barber. What can we expect there from not only you, but also the Lotus 49?
That was kind of twisty, and from what I've heard of it, I think it's pretty hard to overtake there. But it's definitely going to be a hell of a ride to get that car over that track, because all the ditches and bumps are in there, and then all the ups and downs. It's going to be really exciting.
Well, congrats once again on your good outing. Their unfortunate ending in the very end, but still a very good outing, I would say, from you, Yuri. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck for next week.
All right. See you guys next week.
That was Yuri, guys. Next up, we'll have one more interview. It's Ryan Walker and Mick the Rich Clash.
Yeah, Mick had a decent start to the race, and he was having a great battle with the likes of Christian Challoner, Rob Olenek, and Rafael Dorado and Ovi Trengrade as well. And unfortunately, Mick, it seemed to be heading into turn one that you tried to make a move, and unfortunately, it just went all wrong, and it ended up in contact. Talk about it from your perspective.
Liver's fault. No, not really. No, yeah, we was obviously 3 wide going down the straight there, and I just thought, oh, this ain't going to end well. And honest to God, now Uwe probably hate me for saying this. I looked at Uwe on the left, and I looked at Christian on the right, and I thought, well, I don't really know Christian that well, so I'll just head for Uwe's side of the track. And but I didn't actually mean to hit him, obviously. But so I stayed over there, and then obviously my left rear hit Uwe's right front, and then I mean, as the car was sliding, I was still trying to gather it up. It wasn't really until I was trying to slow the car down using my head that was the point I sort of gave up on it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was really close racing between you guys, and you were swapping places God knows how many times, but it was great to watch. But in the end, I guess you didn't get the result to help you, the result you wanted to help in the championship. But I guess with the rest of the season being road courses, it gives you a chance to redeem yourself and just hopefully pick up more wins and more points for the championship.
Yeah, I always knew this one was going to be a weird race. You know, you never know what's going to happen in these oval races. We're not oval drivers, you know, and so you never, you know, you're never sure on setup, what we're doing, and all the rest of it. So it's all new when we come to these sort of tracks, you know. But it was a good race, you know. Had a good win on Thursday for the official championships. I'm happy about that. But yeah, road courses from now on, so I'm looking forward to those. Yeah, hopefully Christian can, you know, think to himself, maybe I'll join some of the guys in the road races as well.
Yeah, he did mention it. If it just comes down to time, that if he does have time, he'll try and make some of the road races. But
he actually said in the race, "Oh, that's the best racing I've had on iRacing." And as he said it, I just thought to myself, "God, you got to race us on road courses then, mate, because this is nothing compared to road courses. Not in this car, you know."
Indeed, and yeah, before we let you go, Mick, is there anyone that you want to give a thank you to?
Not a thank you, a warning. Never mess with the Mackenzie boys.
As that was Mick Clarence joining us in the booth, and they didn't get the result he wanted to. But it's next week back on a road course, he'll have another chance to redeem himself. So, Mick, we'll see you next week.
Yes, guys.
As that was Mick Clarence joining us, and they have to say, Steph, that was a pretty exciting race to watch, and a great race and a great battle for the win.
Yeah, very much so, and it did turn out to be a much more spectacular race than we all could have imagined. But with all of that, as always, GSRC would like to thank everyone on track today for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen, you can also see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Chun Lalonde, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, or on Instagram at GSRC_program. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now slaying across your screen, so check them out and mark them down the calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Ryan, and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Christian Challoner took away the victory here in virtual Pennsylvania. With that said, until next time, so and sayonara. And as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.